show you. I've created new measurements here called pulmonary function test. And in there I've put the FEV1 and the ratio. You know that, because you'll see what happens in this form. So this is here the assessment and action plan. So basically what I've tried to do here is take the Canadian Thoracic Society guidelines and put it into an interactive form that we can use basically as part of that action plan to really get an incentive to do the action plan. This is not on the web yet, we just created it, so we need to test it for a while. So how it starts, if you want to go to the guidelines, they are here, they're just shortened and the long guidelines. The first thing you've got to ask the patient is, how aggressive are they, and we'll make them in level the MRC4. If you fill out the hypertension flow sheet and you put in smoking history, it'll auto-populate from the hypertension flow sheet or from the measurement where it does it. You ask the patient, are they coughing? Are they treated with antibiotics more than once a year for 2 consecutive years? These are prompts to look for comorbidities. Are they in right heart failure? Have they been losing weight? If you put those into your measurements, they will auto-populate into here, the values. If you didn't put in measurements, you can put them in yourself. Then you click the COPD stage, and what this does is it takes from the questions and it takes from the FEV1, and it'll show you what stage they're at. So they're, based on those two numbers, they're moderate. The catch here, which I found out, is that the Spiriva uses some of those guidelines, but you have to be less than 60% FEV1 to get the special authority. So they're using some of it, and that wasn't in the thoracic guidelines, but it's conflicting. It'll also tell you what you should be using in this patient for moderate, and I haven't, basically it works off the worst one that it finds here. So you should be using short-acting, you should be using a long-acting or a long-acting anticholinergic or a beta-2, and it says you should consider smoking cessation, particularly up to the average smoker. You can make them worse than that, making them severe. Before I do that, I'll use up the exacerbation. So when you make them severe, you'll get more options here. And then if you make them, so you get exacerbations, then it'll tell you that inhaled steroids. So again, this is just based off those guidelines, 2008. Then follow up, there's no consensus as to what you should do. Other strategies, it'll prompt you to think of these things. And you could be checking these, what you're doing, you can check them, but just as a reminder to yourself that this is what you should be doing. And then the COPD action plan, this is care of John. So there's a couple of word changes, but exactly the same. And what I've done is put in the antibiotics. So for your care plan, you want to give them some amoxicillin, and you want to give them some prednisone to have on hand. And so that, and then the second page of this is the goals of COPD management, tell that, and here's your flare medication, it auto-populates those ones that you put in there, so that the patient can record when they started and finished, and so on. And then there's some resources that'll print out on the patient. Here there are links, but the patient's only going to get paper. I don't think I can print this, not of this, but basically the only things that print is the action plan and the second page here. So that's that. And that will be posted as soon as I'm happy that it's like free.
When you post will you put some documentation associated with it so that people understand how to use the form and the expectation of what the colors mean? Because some forms have some colors, red means one, another form red means another.
Sure, I'll try to. Most of it's designed to be intuitive. I used to have pink in the mental health toolkit in cancer. Pink is a lousy color, so it turned red. And red will draw your eye to it, so red is something you deal with. But yes, I'll try and put documentation.
That's right. I just got on. Is this the one that's on?
Yeah, you also need that one.
Yeah, that would be great.
Does that work?
It's awful coming after these guys. I had the pleasure of working with Dave and Shelton and some of the other guys, and unlike them, I'm very computer literate, which makes it fun to do lots of that because they're quite sophisticated and I'm not. But for those of you out here who feel intimidated, often I sat in meetings and I don't even understand what words they're using, never mind how to make that work. You can actually make all these things work without much your sophistication. And I'd like to encourage anybody who's sort of thinking about this stuff to just jump in. Anyway, I'm just going to take, thank you. I'm just going to take, I don't know how to make the computer move. So I'm just going to take a minute and show, well, a few minutes, show people hopefully a tool for therapeutic drug monitoring. It's a little project we've been working on, and it's hopefully going to help us do our job better on the idea of therapeutic drug monitoring. And the question, these are just my objectives for this presentation, which will be quick. What's the itch to scratch? And I'll tell you, my itch was over many years, I found myself thinking, you know, I don't really know how to do this. I start people on drugs, and I don't really know, should I be testing them? What should I be testing them for? What are the right things to test, if anything? How do I do this? And then you get a consult from the specialist saying, please do this every 3 months, every 6 months. And you think, oh, what's that based upon? Or you read the CPS, which is even worse. And as I was reflecting, I realized that what I've been doing for a long time, every time I came across a source that seemed to make sense, I would photocopy that, and every time I put the patient on the drug, I would get a copy of that and I'd stick it in front of their chart. So when I go to reorder their methotrexate or their amiodarone or something like that, I would look at the sheet, my little cheat sheet, little 8 or more. And then I started doing spreadsheets, basically. So if I had something about methotrexate, I'd hand the voice to copy all the data onto the spreadsheet so I could see what their CBC and their LPs and all these that. It was a horrible process, but it fulfilled my needs. It just took a long time. So the rationale was to make that a better process. To try to bring some evidence to the process so that we actually are, or I was, practicing evidence-based medicine around therapeutic drug monitoring, and then to try to make it user-friendly. So fortunately I had some help. I got a little bit of a grant from UBC, and I had a keen resident and a pharmacist PhD husband who were willing to work with me on it. So that's the objective, is to basically assist doctors in doing a good job on drug monitoring. And these were briefly the goals of this project. We decided to get funding, we had to make both paper and EMR based, and EMR would be usable with any system. So the data is going to be available to use in any system. That's where UBC bought on it. And obviously I'm motivated to make the work positive, which is where we use my drug draft as the platform. And Dave is going to talk more about my drug draft this afternoon, I believe. So you'll hear a little more about that. And for those of you who aren't using it, it is really worthwhile to try and manage our draft. So the goal is to basically take 10, 15 drugs that we use as docs all the time and provide some evidence around how to use them better. Another way to look at this is we need the right information, to be accurate, valid, and reliable. And around evidence-based, or around therapeutic drug monitoring, what do you think the level of evidence for most of what we do? You know, 1A, 2B, what do you guys think? 3. And it's mostly level 3, grade C evidence. Very little good evidence, but part of what we put against it. So it's got to be the best information available, well-researched, sources applied, so that those who want to look at the reference, they can say,